and I'm here to talk to you about the author K.R. Alexander. I wanted to spotlight his work because he has made about 5 or 6 horror stories that I absolutely love, and I love horror. So the first one up is The Undrowned, which is about actually a friendship between Samantha and Rachel. And Rachel ends up betraying Samantha. And Samantha decides that she's going to make Rachel's life just horrible, torture, a nightmare. And one day they end up fighting by the lake in town, and things get a little rough, and Samantha, who has trouble controlling her temper, ends up pushing Rachel into the lake. And unfortunately, Samantha kind of reacts not in a way you expect, and just kind of flees the scene. And she that night is home, terrified that someone's gonna come looking for her, knowing that she's involved in Rachel's death. Nothing comes, no one calls, no one shows up. She goes to school, everyone seems normal, and then Rachel walks into the classroom. And now it's Rachel's turn to get Samantha back. So this one I really enjoyed reading. This one I just read, Scare Me. And it's about every year in this town, there's a large mansion, spooky mansion, that also serves as a museum. And they do a Halloween contest. And there's about 4 teams, and they each get a floor in the house, and they have to come up with some kind of theme to scare everybody. So basically a haunted house. But this year, the house actually ends up coming alive, and the teens can't get out. And then, I hate clowns, this is The Fear Zone. And this is about 5 friends who get invited to a cemetery, and they think it's a prank. They're in middle school, they think it's like a high school prank, but it's not, and they end up unleashing this evil force. And this evil force follows them, haunts them with their greatest nightmares. And now they're not sure how to undo the damage that they've done. And if you couldn't guess, one of them is scared of clowns. And so there's always this sinister clown that's lurking around in the corners. So if you guys have heard of the movie It, you might want to check this one out. It's Miss Bailey, and I have a brand new book that we just received that is still in processing called Hide and Seeker that I wanted to share with you guys today. As you can guess, it has to do with the game Hide and Seek, which I'm sure most of us grew up playing with our friends. And this book is about a group of 4 friends who had one of their friends go missing for over a year, Z. And Z shows up after a year, and he's not quite himself. He can't really talk straight. He rhymes when he talks, and he has these weird scars all over his body. And he has these kind of violent tendencies, so much so that his mom actually keeps him locked in his room for his own safety. And as you can guess, his friends are really spooked by this and very confused as to what happened to their friend. And they want to get to the bottom of it. But they accidentally end up getting pulled into a game of hide and seek, which is what Z didn't want to happen for them at all. And what they realize now that they're involved in this game, there's no ending and something is coming for them no matter what. So now they have to figure out how to end this game on their terms and if they can make it out alive. So I am loving this book so far. If you love thrills and you want to be a little creeped out, please check out Hide and Seeker.
Hello everyone, my name is Miss Sarah from the Lucy Robbins Wells Library. I'm here to talk to you guys about some fun spooky reads. So the first one I'm going to talk about, it's not exactly a scary book, but it's instead filled with magic and wonder. And it is called The Girl in the Witch's Garden by Erin Bowman. So this is a story about a young girl named Piper Peavy who has to go stay with her grandma and her mother for the summer. So her grandmother lives in a house that's known as the Mallory Estate. And as great as the name sounds, the house isn't all that awesome. The grounds are always really cold, the garden out back's dead and old, burnt up from a fire long ago. And there's also some rumors that her grandmother might be a witch who traps any kid who goes inside of her house. Well, at least she knows the last part's not true. She's been to her grandmother's house plenty of times. But the real reason she doesn't want to go is because that is where her mom is. So Piper lives with her dad currently because her mother left her when she was just a young girl and really hasn't had much to do with her since. But Piper's dad has this very bad illness, and now he's being hospitalized. So she really has no choice. She has to go stay with her grandmother and her mom. But when she arrives, a strange group of kids open the door. Well, that's weird. There shouldn't be any kids at Mallory Estate. And they inform her that they're all being fostered by her mom. The mom who didn't want anything to do with her. Well, Piper can't believe it. She wants to talk to her mother right away. Or her grandmother, at least. But then they tell her that her grandmother's been away for weeks. Well, no one told her that either. And when she tries to talk to her mom's just cold and dismissive. Well, the kids start telling her more about the estate and her mom and her grandmother. They tell her that they're there studying magic, that her mom and her grandmother are actually witches. Well, Piper can't believe any of this. This has to be some sort of practical joke. But then they tell her that the enchanted garden out back isn't actually dead, that it's trapped under a spell, and that the real garden is alive and well. And hidden inside of that garden is an elixir of immortality. And that if any of the kids can figure out how to get inside the garden and retrieve the elixir, they'll get adopted, which is what they all want. But Piper, she doesn't really need to be adopted. She already has her dad. But an elixir of immortality, well, that might just save him. She doesn't really want to believe in all this magic, but if there's a chance to save her dad, then she's willing to do just about anything. So definitely check this one out. It's a really awesome story all about magic, which I definitely think anyone would enjoy. And like I said, it's not exactly a spooky book. It's a little spooky at some points, but if you're not big on scary, this one might be for you. Let's talk about another spooky read. This one is called The Griffins of Castle Cary by Heather Shumaker, and it's really awesome ghost stories for my fan of ghost stories. This is a story about 3 siblings named Meg, Will, and Ariel, who are going to stay with their aunt in England. It's supposed to be a really fun trip for them. Their Aunt Effie's a little kooky and silly, but they love her, and they get to stay in her tiny little house that she calls the Griffinage. But what they didn't expect was that the village of Castle Cary, where she lives, is haunted by some pretty famous ghost stories. Especially the ghost in the tower, who watches out over her window over the Castle Cary, waiting for her daughter to come home. Well, Meg and Will, who are the older siblings, think this sounds pretty cool, and they want to investigate the stories while they're there. They want to find the ghost in the tower. So they start going on the tours, they start trying to see if they can see the green light she's supposed to emit at night, but they don't see anything. So they think, oh well, this is just a silly story. But then some strange things start to happen in the Griffinage. Their youngest sister, Ariel, starts to have a new imaginary friend that she becomes very much obsessed with. Well, it's just Ariel. She's just being silly. She's just a little kid. But then Will starts to hear music that's not there. And Meg and Will, they start to think that maybe there might be some truth to these ghost stories after all. And it quickly becomes revealed that these ghosts aren't as friendly as their stories make them out to seem. And if they can't figure out how to satisfy the ghost's longings, they may just become casualties to them. So this story is very fun and very spooky for my friends who love ghost stories. Definitely check it out.
Hi, I'm Miss Joanne, and I'm here to tell you about this book, The Nest. It's summer, a season of fun, but for Stephen, it's a season of worry. His little brother was just born and isn't healthy. He needs an operation, but first he needs to become strong enough to survive the operation. 10 days after the baby is born, Stephen has a dream. A beautiful wasp comes to him in his dream. She's translucent and delicate. Stephen thinks she's an angel. The queen wasp tells Stephen that she can fix the baby. Can she really? How can she do it? Stephen isn't sure about it, but the queen convinces Stephen that it's a good thing. So Stephen says yes, he will help. As time goes on, Stephen's not so sure that he made the right decision. Can he take his yes back and change his mind and not help the queen? In the meantime, Stephen's little sister, Nicole, has a toy phone. And she keeps getting phone calls and everybody thinks it's cute. They say that she's talking to Mr. Nobody. Well, the strange thing is, Mr. Nobody is telling Nicole things about baby Theo that her parents haven't even been told by the doctors yet. Who is Mr. Nobody? How is Mr. Nobody and the Queen Wasp connected? Read Kenneth Oppel's haunting story, The Nest, and find out all the answers. Into the Land of the Unicorns by Bruce Coville. It's a wintry night and Kara and her grandmother are being followed. Grandmother gives Kara her necklace, which is a mysterious amulet, and tells her to keep it safe. Grandmother also gives Kara a message to bring to the old one. Kara and her grandmother start to run. The man runs after them. They run into a nearby church to hide. Does the man find them and follow? There, Kara, with the help of the amulet, jumps into the alternate world of Luster, the land of the unicorns. Does Kara jump in time to get away from the strange man? Is grandmother safe being left behind? Now that Kara is in a strange place, is she safe from all the creatures who live there? Does Kara ever get the message to the old one, whoever and wherever she may be? Follow Kara into the land of the unicorns. As you read, you will go on a dangerous, scary adventure with Kara.
Hello, it's Mrs. Cobb with a spooky pick for the month of October. And I can't tell you the name of this book because the name of this book is secret. It's by Pseudonymous Bosch. It's the first in the secret book series. And I can't tell you where their story takes place because it's secret. Since I can't tell you, we'll just pretend it takes place here in Newington, in your hometown. I will tell you about the characters, but these are not their real names. The main character is Cass. She's an 11-year-old survivalist who's always on the lookout for the next disaster. Her motto is, be prepared. And her classmate, Max Ernest. He talks a lot, loves puzzles and word games and thinking logically, and the two of them become collaborators. That is, they team up together. So, in this secret book that I shouldn't even be telling you about, Cass comes across a case of 99 tubes filled with a variety of colorful items called the Symphony of Smells. It was brought into Cass's grandfather's antique store, and it was found in the home of a dead magician before that. When Cass and Max Ernest discover a secret message within the Symphony of Smells, it leads them to the dead magician's diary. Unfortunately, the diary is also wanted by a stricken couple named Ms. Mauvais and Dr. L. Cass and Max Ernest find themselves entangled in a mystery involving a kidnapping, a quest for immortality, all wrapped up in the magician's story. So, if you want to see how this mystery unfolds, or if you enjoy quirky characters in books like Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, I think you'll like this book. Read it if you dare, but remember, it's a secret. My next spooky read is called Scarlett, Hart, Monster Hunter by Marcus Sedgwick and Thomas Tehlor. It is a graphic novel set in London, England, where monsters terrorize the city's inhabitants. Monsters like ghost dogs, sea serpents, mummies, and more. Luckily, there are monster hunters like Scarlett Hart. Scarlett is the orphan daughter of two famous monster hunters, and she's now looked after by her trusty butler Napoleon and Mrs. White. Even though the Royal Academy for the Pursuit and Eradication of Zoological Eccentricities, also known as Trapeze or the Academy, considers Scarlett to be too young to hunt monsters, she does it anyway. They need to make ends meet so they can keep their home, and so Scarlett and Napoleon go out monster hunting, and then Napoleon claims the reward money for the kill. Her parents have left her with all kinds of monster fighting gadgets to help her get the job done. Then there's Count Stankovic. He's the villain of the book and Scarlett's parents' nemesis. He is always looking to get Scarlett in trouble for underage monster hunting. He even steals their kills and claims the rewards. But the city's monster problem seems to be intensifying. Where are all the monsters coming from? Why is Count Stankovic always where the monsters are? Can Scarlett get to the bottom of the situation without getting caught by the Academy for underage monster hunting? This is a great book for readers who like lots of action or who like monsters. It's a really cool graphic novel, so give it a read.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Mendelson. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of scary, spooky books. This one that I have here is from R.L. Stine of Goosebumps fame. It's called Just Beyond is the series, and this one is The Scare School. This is R.L. Stine's foray into graphic novels. Okay, it starts off, we have our three friends here, and they're trying to escape their school, and they are caught by this evil mechanical bug. So they wind up imprisoned, but then we have part 2, and we have 3 new students who will eventually find that disabled robot bug. The boys are very smart. They reactivate the bug, and that bug goes to their school basement. And it turns out that in the basement is a portal that takes them to a different realm where our first 3 students with those weird clothes happen to live. So they need to try to figure out how to escape from that new realm. There's a mystery to be solved. Will they be able to solve the mystery in time to escape and get back home? Read The Scare School and find out. All right, the next book I'm going to talk to you about is a Rick Riordan Presents. This is Paola, Santiago, and the River of Tears. And this one deals with the ghost La Llorona. La Llorona is a South American legend where she drowned her children, and as a ghost she wanders around rivers, and she takes the living children to replace hers. In this story we have Paola, who's very into science, her friend Dante, also likes science and sports, and then we have Emma. This takes place near the Gila River in Arizona, and because it's near a river, Paola's mom, who does some psychic readings, but she also works as a waitress, she forbids her from going to the river. And like normal kids, they don't listen to her. So they go down one day with the telescope and they're going to go look at the stars, and Emma was supposed to meet them there, but Emma's not there. Emma has gone missing. Also in that town, other children have gone missing. Paola also has these recurring nightmares, and Dante's abuela, his grandmother, starts to get all weird and tells him that they must find Emma before the summer solstice. What will happen after the summer solstice? How will they find Emma? Will they find Emma? Okay, read Paola, Santiago, and the River of Tears to find out.